Hello, I'm FX Toycat, and Minecraft 1.18 is releasing in just over a week, and it's changing all of the caves, it's changing all of the cliffs, and honestly, it's changing everything about the world generation algorithm, so much so that you literally can't recognize the same seed before 1.18 and then after it. And although the transformations are spectacular, it does mean that every single seed that you know from before that update is going to be going away. Every single amazing seed that you want to experience, you now have just over a week to do so before they're gone forever. And that's why I had to share these 10 amazing seeds. Looking at some of these, they seem so impossible, but they won't be existing after this update, so make sure you check them out in the next 9 days before November 30th, 2021, when all seeds change forever. And let's jump straight into the first one, right after mentioning that if you want to see 1.18 content, including some of the best seeds in that update, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so you can see more of these videos daily on your homepage. But yeah, this first seed is a pretty crazy one to look at, because this is a seed that I shared in April of this year, 2021, and it's a seed that is just so interesting because you spawn in a spruce tiger biome. It's lovely, you get access to a dark type of wood. Maybe you want that. Maybe you love the fact that you spawn on a tree and you have to slowly work your way down, but the fact I love much more is that you spawn this close to a mushroom biome. If you want to see more about the seed, obviously, you can check out that video, but the bare basics fact is that you spawn this close to a mushroom biome, which is amazing by itself, but the amazing fact of this seed is not the purple water or the flower cows. It is in fact the village which generates at the edge there. That seems unbelievable from this distance, so allow me to get just a little bit closer and show you that no, this is very real. Somehow the Minecraft world algorithm broke just a little bit and ended up with this, a village which is in a mushroom biome. This is actually an incredible feat if you want to keep your village very safe, because no hostile mobs can spawn in this biome, even at night, and just the fact of seeing this together, honestly, is one of the most shocking, staggering things you can see with your own eyes, and you can do so only for the next 9 days. I'm not going to mention that after every seed, but it is a really critical piece of information. And speaking of critical piece of information, seeing structures in places they shouldn't be is one of my favorite things, which is why I'm going to show you the second seed. By the way, did you know this also means we can get great chest loot like diamonds? But yeah, the second seed has something better than diamonds, because this seed spawns you into a plains biome, which is nice enough. You have some of the old style mountains ahead of you. You probably don't want to keep those. And then you have a village just over there. But then what's that to the right? What structure is that? It looks kind of like a desert temple, but also a little bit like a shipwreck. And then for some reason there's lava in there. I think we need to get closer to understand this one. Yeah, I think it goes without saying that Minecraft's world generation algorithm is just a little bit broken in some places, and one of the ways in which it is broken leads to this, a ruined portal spawning inside of a shipwreck, and the shipwreck itself had already spawned in the side of a desert temple. It's funny though, because this actually is a really useful structure. I mean, as you can see, it's most of a nether portal already crafted. Also, because of the shipwreck, you can get wood despite being in a desert, so that's really nice. And then you can use said wood, if you really want to craft a pickaxe so that you can get down and get all of the lovely chests that spawn below this blue block. Although don't jump straight down there. I think this is actually a really useful example of three structures colliding in a way that is both hilarious to look at. I mean, if we F1 for a minute, just this is insane to look at. It seems impossible, but it was possible until 1.18, and you know, maybe eventually we'll find something like this. But for now, I know this is just what is happening here is the only way we can summarize any of this, right? This next seed allows me to live one of my dreams, because when I was younger, I always wanted to live in a houseboat. I mean, it's actually one of those terrible things once you look into it. If you don't know, houseboats are canal boats, because the UK has canals all over it. Whatever. Fun fact, you might not have known if you don't live in the UK, but when I meant houseboat, I didn't mean this, which is what Minecraft took it as, in this very interesting seed that only exists right here inside of 1.17. As you can see, this guy's house backs directly into a ship's little room right here, which is delightful to see, to say the least. I mean, brewing and a ship in the same place? What is this? An amazing sight? Yes, it is. I cannot get over what this is, and the fact that this is not the most interesting broken seed I'm going to show you today, because it is very interesting to look around. You can grab your free loot if you want to. I wonder why I couldn't see that in the corner there, but you can grab your free loot if you really want to. You can grab all sorts of other things from down under here. Instead though, you might want to load up this fourth seed, which has some other combination of structures next to spawn. Again, again, it's kind of hard to even work out what these are when you first look at them, but trust me when I say it's gonna cause a bit of a fight. And when I say that, I mean that in a very literal way, because this outpost spawned on top of a village, except it's not just on top of a village, it's on top of a desert temple, which also spawned on top of the village, which means you can spawn in and be immediately attacked by pillagers, which sounds like a bad thing, and honestly, largely is a bad thing, because also, if you want to access that sweet, sweet desert temple loot, good luck getting down there with any ease and without being murdered. This is a very interesting seed if you like the idea of immediately starting a pillager raid when you get into a world, and for everyone else, it is pain. Wait, Spain, but without the S. What I love about this seed, though, is not just the murder, it's not just the fact that we get some old generation quirks that won't exist anymore, old style rivers, which I honestly don't like at all, but like the old style cave entrances, I actually do like as a way to get coal and iron easily. I mean, like cave entrances are much less common in 1.18 to make them more special, which means that you lose a little bit of something when you're doing that. But the other thing that makes this whole area special is that it's not just a desert temple, pillager temple, village, all combined into one, but just outside the bounds of the village, do you know what you find? That's right, it's a pillager captain right next to a ruined portal. Everyone loves ruined portals, and in case you don't love ruined portals, here is everyone's actual favorite structure, the desert well as well. I don't know how 5 structures generated so ludicrously close together, but again, after 1.18, you can't enjoy this sort of thing. Something else that won't exist after 1.18 comes out is this. This is an abandoned mineshaft at Bedrock Lair, which means that as you can see, the floor of this mineshaft is made primarily from bedrock. And interestingly enough, because of this area right here being spawned on top of it, as you can see, the mineshaft actually cuts out the bedrock. It means for one of the very first times ever, you can get an actually flat layer of bedrock. In just 9 days time, all bedrock in your existing worlds will be converted into deep slate, this block right here, and obviously even this seed will be changing in that way. But if you want to get a rare last taste of something very interesting, this is the place to do it. And yeah, I think it's kind of a beautiful thing to miss out. In case you're curious, I showed this seed off in 2020 if you want to see more interesting things about it, because it is a mineshaft that goes down to bedrock in a lot of places, and that and there's a fun story behind that too, which is like one of my first ever videos to go massively viral was me playing Minecraft and coincidentally finding a mineshaft at bedrock. So it's kind of fun to me that, like, yeah, you look around and you this phenomena which I first found in Java all those years ago does exist on bedrock, and if you want to experience it with all of the weird benefits that come along with it, now is the time, and you better make sure you get used to it. You get your best out of it. So the 6th seed that I want to share with you is one that gives you a really nice advantage if you're looking for very specific things in Minecraft, because one of the rarest structures in the game, you know, you might know it as the Woodland Mansion, is something that you can spawn directly on top of. You wouldn't have believed it if you didn't see me spawn into the world using that seed, but it is in fact true. It's also a great place to see that banners are slightly glitchy in how they render through other objects. But anyway, my point here is that yes, this is really a Woodland Mansion that we really just spawned on top of, and if you want to test it out for yourself, here is the seed. Oh, I mean, you saw it earlier, but here it is again. Look how big the seed is. Do you want it bigger? Look how big those numbers are, and they are on your screen right now. Type them into Minecraft, and you'll spawn right here, which I'll admit, like, honestly, is kind of a bad idea to do in a few ways, because you can directly spawn yourself into chaos and 2-hit KOs, but you know, or 3-hit KOs, but you know what's the best thing? If you die, oh no, how am I going to get back to the Woodland Mansion? Good news, you spawn directly on top of it, no problems for you. You have nothing to lose. You can just run right in here, find the goodies you want to start Minecraft with, and then run back out. Okay, I guess we're letting some creepers explode now, huh? Let's let one explode over here, actually. You know what? Let's treat ourselves. As you might know, behind those walls, you're always going to find some form of fun little, you know, staircase, and I enjoy that immensely. Speaking of things I enjoy immensely, Woodland Mansions, aren't they fun? The rest of the seed is interesting enough too, and you can check that out for yourself, but like, can anything compete with the basic description of you spawn in a Willow Mansion? I think not. I do have to say, there is something very fun about my first blocks in Minecraft being carpet and birch, one single birchwood plank. It's not a common world that you get to do that in. But this is a great example of one where you can. So here's another seed I showed off on Seed Sunday earlier this year. If you don't know, it's my weekly series where I show seeds for Minecraft that are interesting and worth checking out in some way. And I'll link the Seed Sundays from this video down below if you want to know more about certain seeds. But the interesting thing about this seed is that you spawn with a mine shaft directly above you. Wow, isn't that interesting? And you know what's directly below you? Minecraft's most challenging structure, the Stronghold. This is honestly one of those seeds that it's going to be a bummer to lose, and the reason why is having a stronghold at spawn would be useful for, I mean, going to fight the Ender Dragon or whatever, you know, nerds do when they play Minecraft, but also if you want to get the one brand new item in 1.18, the new music disc, it only spawns inside stronghold chests. So, yeah, I really like this seed as a challenge because you have to break planks as opposed to trees, and then like break your way into there from scratch in a way that I think is just so interesting as a challenge. Let me show you right now, actually. Okay, it's taken me a lot of punching and a lot of breaking, and I'm really worried I won't even be able to get this next wood block that I need. But here we go. Look at that. I have myself a... Finally, I have myself a wooden pickaxe, and I can break my way into the stronghold and maybe get some silverfish on me. This is not what I want, actually. Yeah, it's very, very unique having ender pearls be some of your first items, and that's what makes some of these seeds so interesting. It's just an entirely different Minecraft experience, right? Now we can jump right out of the ravine, which we spawned into, assuming we nailed that jump. Yes, we did. And here's the other thing about this ravine, that it has changed since the Seed Sunday video I made earlier this year, because obviously you spawn in a ravine next to a village, which is interesting enough by itself. Obviously, you spawn with a lot of free-hanging sand, which is always just so quirky to look at, right? But yeah, spawning in a ravine is very interesting. Spawning in a ravine with a mine shaft and a stronghold is incredibly interesting. Having some villagers even look over the ledge at you and kind of decide to join you is also so bizarre. But you know what makes this interesting beyond that? Since I covered the seed, the 1.17 update came out, and it included amethyst geodes, and by extreme chance, one of those spawned in here too. It is nuts to look at, and so this seed is even rarer for existing, not only because it's a seed where, again, if you look right here, this stronghold is actually generating below the lava, interesting stuff, but also amethyst geodes will only generate below Y30 after 1.18 comes out, so this will be functionally impossible, and that is a big tragedy if you ask me. I mean, this, how can you not want this in your day-to-day life? It's a trick question. Of course you want it. Speaking of things that you of course want, this 8th seed that I want to show you today is so interesting because you spawn in a bit of a weird biome mess. As you can see, it's a plains, but then there's a beach, and then there's, what is that? That is an iceberg, and then there's a Savannah village just past the iceberg. Okay, Savannah village next to an iceberg, kind of interesting by itself. What if I said, though, that it wasn't a Savannah village next to an iceberg, but for whatever reason, the Savannah village actually did this and went inside of some of the icebergs? It is very, very, very strange to look at in places. I mean, why would you choose to farm under here? It just doesn't make any sense. But it is a very, very nice little spawn. And you know what makes it better? The fact that all you have to do is dig down from underneath that Savannah village, or right over here if you really want. And do you know what you're gonna find in absolutely no time? You should know, because when you dig down from villages, you find strongholds. And this stronghold is interesting because it has the obvious end portal room, but it has not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 IF enders in it, but it has all of those at the same time, meaning all you need to do to beat Minecraft on this seed is find 4 IF enders. That's killing 4 endermen and 2 blazes. And do you need to kill all 4 endermen? I mean, the good news is there's chests around this stronghold where you can go and look for that stuff yourself, and that is what makes this a truly amazing seed. It saves the amount of time you have to spend beating Minecraft significantly, while also giving you that Savannah village inside of an iceberg. What is not to love? I mean, the lava, which we're gonna die in now, so we can go to the next seed. Because this 9th seed is just a great analog for the sort of thing that we won't find after 1.18, and it has to do with lava as well, because you spawn right next to this lovely ravine. In that ravine, you can find iron, you can find emerald, you can find all the good things you might want to find, and, oh, I'm actually in the wrong ravine. That's embarrassing. Wait, no, this actually is the correct seed, because it just looks like there's no ruin portal in this lava. What you have to do if you want to find this ruin portal is swim into the lava and then look around it. It can be tricky to see down here, I'll admit, but if we fly right down and out of the world, you'll notice the ruin ruin portal tried to spawn a little bit too low down, got cut off by the bedrock layer, but then because of all the air blocks that generate around the portal, as you can see, there is bedrock missing in a large way. After the update, all of that missing bedrock will just become, you know, deep slate, and it'll be kind of boring again. But this is an example of something you just won't be able to find. I mean, why is there a hole in the bedrock? Why is it so large? As you can see, this is not a common thing. Most worlds don't have these massive holes in them. And yeah, just it's the sort of thing that was so amazing that it was found whatsoever, because there is no indication that it is there from the surface. And yeah, that's why we thanked Cracked Magnet, who is, of course, as I mentioned before, the seed lord when it comes to Minecraft Bedrock. There's no indication that it's there, but it's right next to spawn, and it's incredible. So this last one is another example of a seed that is too good to miss, because sure, if you're looking for terrain generation, how it used to be, this is a great example of that too. I mean, looking around the spawn, you can see like, okay, it's a plains biome, it's slightly hillier than a normal plains biome, but because of the way mountains generated before this update, it's very hard to find anything too damning about that. But there's also look at this right here, for instance. Like, there's so many weird quirks of generation and just like caves and whatnot that you're not going to find this way. Honestly, after this update and people get used to the new terrain, they'll be like, did you destroy that yourself? Nope, that's just an ugly old style cave. Speaking of ugly old style caves, hop into this lovely wood roof forest right here. Climb up some of these surprisingly tall mountains for 1.17. Wow, how am I meant to climb up there? It's like a solid 15 blocks tall. It's basically impossible. And then on the other side of it, here we are. It is a ruined portal, except the ruined portal's next to a Woodland Mansion, but the Woodland Mansion has a hole in it. Why is that? Oh, it's because there's actually a villager outpost right there, which is what makes this such a perfect like combination. I've never seen this before. Again, Cracked Magnet, the Seed Lord, he did some amazing work in finding this to begin with, and it's a crazy example of something that actually looks like it goes. Even though Minecraft structure combinations are crazy and broken, and you can say, yeah, it's probably a good thing they're fixing it and it's going away for now at least until we find some equivalent in 1.18, it is so interesting to look at it and be like, but looking at this just looks perfect. It looks like it was meant to be there. The outpost is a surprisingly robust part of the Woodland Mansion, and besides these pillagers themselves, the mobs are the same anyway, so actually it all does line up thematically as well as everything else, even though it's entirely broken. And that's the great thing about Minecraft. It shows that even when something is an accident, or to use the Bob Ross quote, there are no mistakes, there are just happy little accidents. And this is one of the happiest and strangest little accidents, in my opinion. How does this exist and why? I don't know the answer to that question. I just know I've got myself some free carrots right now, apparently. And yeah, it actually spawned in the middle of a boxing arena too, making it even more interesting and weird and quirky, and just it is strange to climb around and look at this thing. But you can totally do it if you want a golden... Oh, wow, that is actually some good food to have at spawn. You can totally do it, and you totally should do it. Speaking of things you totally can and should do, not this chicken. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did in some way, make sure to subscribe. Again, it's going to be tragic to lose all of these, but I am excited for the future of looking for interesting seeds, because now there are new caves to play around with, there's new mountains, and yeah, it looks like after even 1.19, they're still going to be updating the world engine. So after having years and years of solid seeds that remain basically the same, we're going to be having a new era of Minecraft, seed development in a way. And so yeah, after this update and before it even, just be extra sure to check what version or what time a seed was recorded, because a seed from any time in this month won't work after this month. A seed from any time this year might not work later on in 2022, or at least won't work exactly the same way. And so just keep that in mind, that for the first time in a while we have to care about that, which is sad in some ways, but maybe leads to some very interesting outcomes in others. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I always am going to make the plug that you should subscribe so you can see more Minecraft stuff, because of course, I make it every day. Of course, I'd like you to see it. And yeah, if you want to reward me for this video, you can hit that subscribe and also benefit yourself by seeing some 1.18 seed-related content as soon as that update comes out. And as well as, of course, speedrunning, which is something I intend to get back into. There's going to be a lot of fun things happening after this update, and I hope you choose to stick around and watch for it. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.